Hello, my name's the Mike in the Box, and welcome back to the After Hours After Show. This time, not as late as all the other ones before. We're a little bit earlier than last time, obviously. I was trying to get this video out on the weekend, but here we are, start of the week, getting it out and done. So, Episode 8 of WandaVision is my personal favourite so far. I adored everything about this episode, so we're going to get into a little bit of my opinions and what we think's happening with it a little bit later. But now we're going to go over the synopsis of the episode. This episode starts with a flashback to Salem in 1693, where Agatha Harkness is chained to a wooden pole by her coven of witches, as the witches begin to kill Agatha for practicing the darkest of magic. Agatha turns their magic against them and kills them all, including her own mother. Agatha kills her own mother. So we get Agatha's origin story here, which is really sick. Back in Agatha's cellar in Westview, Agatha begins messing with Wanda and using her magic to open a door where we begin our trip through Wanda's tragic life. I like to think of this episode as therapy for Wanda, which is just great because, honestly, she needs it. Also in the cellar, Agatha holds up her rabbit to her ear and goes, yeah, she seems surprised to meet the real S. I don't think anything is meant by this. I don't think that, as much as I'm still on the Mephisto train, I don't think the rabbit is Mephisto. The rabbit is just a witch's pet. Lads, please chill out. We start on the day that bombs were dropped on Wanda and Pietro's house when they were kids, which we were told about in Age of Ultron, but this adds some context to it, and I think is sick. I love this scene. We learn that Wanda and her family watched sitcoms to better their English speaking ability, which explains why she has such a big knowledge, and she's a big fan of sitcoms, which is why her life is now a sitcom. As they watch the Dick Van Dyke Show, the first bomb hits, killing Wanda and Pietro's parents, and then the second bomb hits, as we were told. It doesn't go off. We see the Stark branding on the side of the bomb, and we learn why it doesn't go off. Wanda has always had her powers, whether she was born, a Scarlet Witch or a mutant, we don't know yet. It would be really cool if she was a mutant. It would explain why also Pietro had powers. I think as cool as it would be to learn that Wanda always was the Scarlet Witch and not a mutant is a cool idea. It is cool that she's a little bit more individual from the mutants that we're going to get soon. But it just makes sense that these two twins were born with the X gene, and when the radiation hit them, they went through the transition into a mutant, and Wanda just so happened to already have some magical ability, but the Mind Stone enhanced it a lot more. But I think it would make sense why Pietro also survived the experiments, to explain that they're both mutants and not Wanda is special, which is why she survived. Because Pietro went through the experiments too. He was also involved with all of that. So chances are they're mutants, which is absolutely sick, and I love that now. We then see the Mind Stone experiments, and someone breaks up in front of Wanda. A comic-accurate costume version of Wanda descends from inside the stone, and we only get a silhouette, but this is going to be her new suit. Her new suit for the rest of the MCU. This is it. Thank God. We're finally going to see it, hopefully next episode, because it is sick. I love it. I love her comic-accurate suit. Yeah, before we get a clear look, the Mind Stone gives Wanda her powers and stops the show. We then see Wanda in her Hydra cell watching the Brady Bunch, and then we go to the best scene so far in the show, and probably one of my favourite scenes in the MCU. Wanda and Vision in the Avengers compound. Wanda opens up about how she really feels. She explains her loneliness and emptiness because of the loss of her brother, and we see why Wanda fell in love with Vision. We see a little backstory to this relationship. Vision delivers a beautiful monologue, and he ends it with the line, "But what is grief, if not love persevering?" Which is a line so well thought of and so well written. It's just fantastic. And after Vision says this, Wanda stares at him. This is the moment she fell for him. After Agatha pushes Wanda to remember what happened after the battle at the Avengers compound in Endgame, Wanda flashes back to her storming the Sword headquarters. Hayward lets Wanda in his office and then shows her Vision's body, which is being dismantled, and obviously this man, there's something up with him, because it's just a bit psychopathic, isn't it? Like, why would you show a grieving woman, her dead husband, just lying there, torn apart? Imagine if that was a human, that'd be even worse. She breaks open the glass and glides down to Vision's head. She places her hand on his head, and in a parallel moment to Infinity War, she delivers the heartbreaking line, "I can't feel you," which is a reference to Wanda saying to Vision in Infinity War, "I just feel you," which is really sad. It's just a sad episode, but perfect character building for Wanda. Wanda respects Hayward, who says she can't bury $3 billion worth of vibranium, and she leaves. I actually think Hayward wanted her to steal the vibranium, but she said no. She drives to Westview, New Jersey, where we get another heartbreaking scene where it's revealed that Vision bought Wanda a plot of land for them to grow old in, and it says "grow old in" a little heart, which is absolutely devastating and reminded me of Up a lot. Wanda falls to the floor in sadness and creates the Westview anomaly. She creates the sitcom world. The house builds in a jigsaw puzzle style, similar to the cover of the House of M comic, where her face is splitting apart in a jigsaw kind of way. Vision is then created from Wanda's power through a yellow magic, so it transitions from red to yellow, which could explain why Vision is alive, because she used the remaining power from within her, from the Mind Stone, to create Vision. So what her powers once were, she's already strong enough as it is now, so she doesn't need the power from the Mind Stone, so she transferred it to Vision, and now he's alive. But it also explains why he couldn't leave the Hex, because he is a creation with the Hex. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. Wanda and Vision sit down on the sofa like the beginning of the show, and Wanda leaves the set and chases after Agnes, because Agnes claps and she goes, "Thanks, Wanda." Agnes then has Billy and Tommy on like strings around their neck. Could hint to some stuff with Mephisto, but I'm not going to hold on to the fact that Mephisto's going to be in this anymore. Agatha then reveals that Wanda has chaos magic, and she is the myth of the Scarlet Witch. And then the episode ends, and the post-credit scene reveals that S.W.O.R.D. has rebuilt Vision in a white body. White Vision. Hell yeah. WTF questions and theories. Pietro answers. The Pietro mystery has likely been answered, and it does not look like he's the one from the Fox X-Men movies, which at this point I'm fine with. And he was Agnes's eyes and ears, trying to get info out of Wanda, but that plan failed. WTF is White Vision. In the comics, White Vision was the emotionless husk of a resurrected Vision. I think we're also seeing that now, and also now that the Jarvis technology is out of Vision, we could be seeing the original man behind this body, which is James Spader voicing this version of Vision, because it's Ultron, which would be sick. I think that is the explanation of how Ultron could be in the show, and I love Ultron, so I'm glad. I'm hoping we see it. Big cameo. People are starting to think that the Mandalorian spoilers, fine. People are starting to think that the Luke Skywalker level cameo is that Paul Bettany is just Paul Bettany as White Vision, which is kind of a letdown, and if it is, I'm going to be pretty annoyed. But this big cameo could still be White Vision, because if White Vision is the big cameo, then James Spader's voice would be the big part of that. So it's Paul Bettany acting, but James Spader's voice, which is hopefully what we see. I'm going to place my bets on that, because that's also one I want to see a lot of, which is probably the most realistic thing I could see happening. It could I'm not going to place my bets on any of the bigger names anymore. I'm starting to hope that we just get a kind of contained story with these guys now. But if we do see these two, who I'm going to mention now, sick, I'll be fine with it. But it doesn't seem likely anymore. Reed Richards and Magneto, probably the most out there theories, but the ones that make most sense for the story, because of Wanda's relation to Magneto being her father in the comics, and also Reed Richards being the aerospace engineer, who I do think is the aerospace engineer Monica was referring to, but I don't think we'll see him in the show. I think maybe the post-credit scene of the whole show, the last episode, the post-credit scene would most likely be the aerospace engineer tease or something like that, or Doctor Strange. Also, the rabbit, people are saying her husband Ralph. I'm thinking her husband Ralph is the devil Mephisto, But I think the most we'd get out of that is either a post-credit scene or a name drop at this point, because I feel like it's just not enough time to introduce everything. Where is Monica? I think the reason that we didn't see Monica at the end of this episode is because she is fighting Pietro right now, but we could be seeing a Monica and Pietro team up with Wanda and Vision to take down Agnes and White Vision, because White Vision's probably going to break into the Hex. Can Vision exist outside of Westview? I don't think so. I don't think he can, because we saw him nearly die when he left last, but I think that they are going to bring Vision back to life, our Vision. Chances are he'll merge with White Vision and then leave the Hex. I think White Vision is probably not going to make it out of this a villain. They're probably going to merge inside the Hex, and White Vision will leave as Paul Bettany, the good guy Vision. So that's what I think is going to happen with that. Big theory time. My big theory has been completely shattered. Wanda did create the Hex without a second party, so that was debunked, but I'm going to present my big theory now. I'm glad Wanda created this Hex by herself. I think this episode did a fantastic job of developing Wanda. She's now one of my favourite heroes because of this episode mainly, and because of the show. But, big theory time, Wanda is not going to let go. She's not ready to. She wants to fight for her Hex to keep her children and her husband, so she fights to kick Agatha out of her home. But then White Vision breaks into Westview, and while White Vision fights Vision, Wanda fights Agnes. Each of them take a twin to help. Monica is fighting Pietro, but when Vision beats White Vision, they merge so that Vision can live outside of Westview. And then Wanda realizes that there is no saving Westview, so she shuts it down. And in one final goodbye to her children, she ends the Hex. But everything falls into the multiverse. When she ends the Hex, it just splits open the multiverse. And also Evan Peters' cameo could be a reference to the fact that this Westview, she accidentally created a gateway to the multiverse. And yeah, falls into the multiverse because of the unstable chaos magic. Monica and the rest of the Westview residents are safe outside with Vision and the twins. So Wanda thinks they're dead, but they're actually alive and out of there, because I don't think Disney would do children murdering because of one of the best heroes now. But Wanda is nowhere to be found. Because she fell through the portal to the multiverse, and Agatha fell with her, and then Doctor Strange arrives to investigate the anomaly in a post-credit scene to set up Multiverse of Madness. That's where I think the final episode is going to go. I think there's just going to be a ton of fights, a ton of creative fights. I'm hoping Agatha teams up with them, because she doesn't really seem like a villain. They've kind of set her up as a villain, but I think she's going to be more like a sympathetic anti-hero. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, they are my main thoughts at the moment. That's my big theory. I think it's pretty good. So Wanda is kind of like just inside the multiverse by the end of it, and Doctor Strange has to go in to help her, which will be Multiverse of Madness. This is a really rough theory, though. I don't think a lot of it will be true. I doubt that it will. It's just, I hope there's a little bit more than just fights. But I do think that Westview would be the portal to the multiverse, and I'd be completely fine if my theory was wrong. Notice how it doesn't mention Mephisto at all, because I think if he's going to show up, it'd be post-credit scene. Conclusion. WandaVision Episode 8 is the best one in the show. The character development of Wanda pushes her into the top 5 of my superheroes ever. The lines delivered in this episode are superb and god tier. And the whole thing just makes us all love Wanda just so much more. I adore Wanda and Vision's relationship now. I think they've just, with that one scene, they fleshed it out so much. This show was really necessary for the characters, and by far the best thing to come out of the MCU, I think. So I'm giving WandaVision Episode 8 a strong 10 out of 10. What did you think about it? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode of probably the After Hours After Show. Or if I upload something different, cool. Adios, my dudes. Catch ya.